Hi Sharon. All right, here's your spread. And so what we're going to do is look at where we are, what you did with the majority of your time, an important day, another important day, your death, and the lesson learned. And we'll get hints and hits of the time period throughout. All right, so all I'm going to do is relay to you the images and impressions I'm getting, and your job is to make the connections where you can, even in small ways, all right? So let's start. And it's really fun because here I pulled the Europe card, and before I pulled this card, I was feeling Grecian. I was feeling Greek, and so when I pulled that, it was like, oh, it was really great. It was awesome. And so we are in Greece, and this is going to be more ancient times because this card right here, as soon as I laid this down, and I don't get impressions like that all the time, but this one, this came very quickly, and this is the laborer card. So it's not that you were like a slave or anything. You actually were a builder, and you enjoyed it. You enjoyed building, and you had a hand in building the temples or an ancient structure. There is an ancient structure you worked on. I want to say for the majority of your life you worked on building this, and I feel like it's a temple. And I don't know if you feel any connection to that period, but these are the kind of connections you can make. So one, if you're even interested in architecture, or if you're interested in the way things are built, like maybe you're someone that used to, you know how Chili's, they have those, what are they called, like those cup holder thingies, those little square things, and you can build like pyramids out of them, or just you basically, if you're someone that constructs things for fun, maybe you like crafts, it can stem from this, so keep that in mind. But basically, I see you building this temple, and I also feel you're like very loyal to what you're building, and I think this is common back then, where you and the other workers, you know what you're building, you know the importance and significance of it, and so that is where I see you spending most of your time. And so I feel like this is also one of their islands. Like, I don't feel like this is in the main area, like how everyone thinks, oh, Greece, Athens. I don't think it's Athens. I think this is a island where there is just like this large town, but nothing like Athens. It's just like a town, and there's a temple being built for a god or goddess. I feel like it's a goddess, a woman, deity. Keep that in mind too, just in case you have any interest in that. It could stem from here. Okay, so let's see. So you're a male in this life. They're showing you, so what I'm seeing is just like dark curly hair and kind of a, you're not heavy set, but you're like thick, like, and it's not like you're ripped either. You're just like this thick guy, and you can handle a lot of weight. Like you're very strong, put it that way. Very strong person here. Mentally and physically, actually. So let's go to the first important day. And this life is actually really, it's kind of a nice life because I feel like you really know your place here, which is really nice. So in your current life, today, in your current life, if you feel like you might like not be lost, but if you're someone that is always trying to figure out where you belong in that sense, it could be because you felt so belonging, like you felt so much belonging in this life that your soul is ready to kind of explore what it's like to live other kinds of lives. Or you can be someone on the flip, you can be someone who easily finds their place in life because you know what it feels like. So those are the kind of connections you can make. All right, so on this day we're seeing a marriage, and sometimes this can be like the cards are not always face value. It can be looking, witnessing someone else's marriage, or a friend's getting married, but in this case you are getting married. And the friend card here, let's get so you can see, here's the marriage card, and then here's the friend card. And there's a distinct feeling that you are marrying a girl who you grew up with, and who there's mutual admiration and mutual respect. And the card right here, this is the grateful card. There's a sense of gratitude that you don't take things for granted in this life. You are aware that how lucky you are. You're both aware how lucky you are to kind of have this situation happen, and there's so much love here because not just of who you are, you're both such good people. There's something that is like solid about both of you, but you also kind of had a feeling growing up that you were kind of intended for each other on a soul level, which is really nice. So in this current life, if you don't have a partner already, it could be because you're waiting to connect with someone on that soul level, or on the flip side, if you have a partner, either one, you've chosen your partner because of the connection you can make in that way, or you might be finding yourself in a situation where you're like, I'm not feeling what I want to be feeling, and I don't know why I'm not satisfied. So if you are in a partnership of any sort and you feel any feelings of unsatisfaction or dissatisfaction, it could be because there isn't the connection on a soul level. While you might have a lot of things in common, there's still something about a soul level union. So just keep that in mind. And it might not be what you're experiencing, but just keep it in mind in case it is. So we see this wonderful wedding. Everybody's there. Everyone's rooting for you. You both have such a way about you that you don't have enemies. If you did have someone not like you, it's because that person is not a good person innately, and there's issues of jealousy. So, and that's what I'm feeling like. If there's maybe a couple people out there, that's because of the jealousy factor. It's interesting because I actually feel like if you can connect to this currently, keep this in mind, that there might be someone here who's actually quite an intellectual, or might be considered what they consider smarter than you, or more creative than you, or more successful than you, but even so, they still are jealous of you, which makes them angry, because it just comes down to the fact that you are a good person, a nice person, you do for others, and everyone knows that and respects you more than they would that other person for their skill set. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind if that calls to you in any way. So the next important day. Okay, so here we're seeing Mother Nature. This card indicates something is happening. There's a natural something happening, like a storm or a earthquake, or something is occurring, and I'm just trying to see what it is. But the person who's involved is your spouse, and there is a sense of joy. Okay, so we're looking at joy and your spouse. Here's the spouse card. I'm just trying to see what this is. I feel like what's happening is that while you're at work one day, there's a rumbling. And I don't know if they get earthquakes in Greece, but I feel like it's the sense of an earthquake where there's almost like a landslide of some sort, and everyone drops what they're doing and goes towards the sound because it sounds like it's going towards the town, if that makes sense. So it's like you're at work and you and your people at work drop everything and run towards what's happening, because I feel like there's something like a landslide or an earthquake or something that would give cause for alarm, but you find that everything, your spouse, your partner is safe, everything is good. And this was an important day for you because you felt feelings of joy and gratitude. It's like almost emotional, like I'm almost feeling the emotions, makes me want to cry in a bit, in a sense. It's kind of interesting. You step up, it's almost like your soul steps up its level of understanding the concept of joy and gratitude. And that's a big deal because that is soul growth right there. Like you think you know what gratitude is. Oh, you met the love of your life and you're grateful, yay. But then there's a sense of realizing you could have lost the most precious thing to you easily, and it's right there, it's safe, it's fine. And so it's just this sense of relief and gratitude unlike anything. And it almost makes you work harder at what you're doing because it amps up your belief and your faith. So keep that in mind. You might be someone in this life who is actually looking to amp up their belief or their faith, and you can find that in almost the small things in life. It's not like you need an aha moment for it, even though this seems like an aha moment. You just need to find the small things to appreciate them and just allow the appreciation to kind of develop more, and that will accumulate and it'll bring you, and that will give you a good foundation and basis for faith or enlightenment or growth in that way. So keep that in mind too. Also, this might make you someone in this life who is protective over the people that you actually do invest your love and energy in. You might be someone who maybe even is possessive in a sense, but definitely protective. You might be someone that likes to check in on people randomly. So keep that in mind as well. Maybe not, but that's where it would come from. And so we're looking at the death. And the death I see here is disease. That's the disease card. It's funny, right when I laid that down, I got an indication of the teeth. I feel like there's something like gum disease, something happening in your mouth with this. And as you know, with the mouth, it's connected to the rest of us. And I feel like there's something that gets into your blood and it just slowly weakens you. And I feel like it is later in life. I feel like it's almost in your 50s that this starts to happen to you, and it just slowly kind of debilitates you. You get weaker. So in this current life, how that can connect is you might have feelings of fatigue for no reason. You might get, easily tired. You also may have mouth issues with your teeth, your gums. Keep that in mind. Or you may have blood issues. So if you have any of these issues occurring in your current life, it can stem from here. And so we move to the lesson, and this is a great lesson, and you definitely learned it in this life. It's the experience card. So that means that you were open to experience anything that came your way, and you really did it, and you had a very open heart in this life. You experienced being this person who went to work every day, and you learned to appreciate it for what it is. That's what it is you took these experiences that came up, because this life wasn't super exciting. It's not like you're traveling the world and doing all these things to experience these things, but it's more of an emotional experience for you. You were really open to experiencing everything that came with it. You didn't take for granted that you married this person as your partner. You didn't take it for granted. You really allowed the experience to infiltrate and basically what is it called? Just fill you. You allowed the experience of this, the feelings of relief and gratitude. You allowed yourself to grow with these feelings. You didn't block yourself off. That's what's beautiful about this life. And so in your current life, if you find like you're someone that blocks off feelings, or you block off even like people who compliment you, or people who see strengths where you don't see them, you tend to block. If that's the case, if you're someone that tends to block off feeling things to the extreme in a sense, then that can come from this life where you fully accepted them. On the other hand, how you can connect to that is you are someone that fully brings in all of the emotions and experiences of this life. And that's a good thing. It can also be a hindrance too, though I have to say, I feel like if it's to the extreme and you don't know why you do that, it's also because of this life, because you got so much good out of it in this life. So just be aware of that as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed your reading. I really did. And I wanted to mention over here, usually this doesn't happen, but this card popped out, and it's weird because I lay cards according to the colors on the back. It tells me where to put them. And so this card came, and I was like laying it in a spot where it shouldn't be, and that doesn't happen. So I want to make note, this is the art card. So keep that in mind if you're someone who is an artist or wants to pursue anything in the arts. Interestingly enough, you're a builder here, so it kind of goes hand in hand, building, art, crafts, things like that. It's something that you should pursue. You shouldn't block yourself off to that at all. It's going to help you. I feel like art might be very helpful for you in many ways, whether it's soul growth or therapeutic or in whatever way. So if that's what you're considering, is pursuing anything in any way that's artistic, please do so. All right? So there's your reading. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a wonderful day.